will start setting responsibility. Okay, user access. Have you checked with Suresh on this?
Yeah, Suresh, I asked Suresh, told me check with Karthik. Karthik told I have told to give access. Maybe by tomorrow they will give.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, once you get the access, you will definitely have the system admin access on that. Okay. And our purpose is to first do the setup of this.
Your voice is breaking.
Now it is clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we will start with the configurations of the enterprise structure. So first we have the business group. Okay. We will say it is, let's say, the then we have the ledger. The ledger will we are everything we are configuring from the perspective of India. It can be configured with respect to US. It can be configured with respect to Europe, any country. So in the ledger, we can India ledger and okay. INR currency. Okay, now what we are doing in we have operations in India. So the definitely we will have currency in INR, but we may be dealing in some foreign currencies as well. So we will have USD, Euro, and that all report into INR because our reporting currency is INR. Okay, everything if we are doing operations in India, though we are doing business in US dollars, Euro currency, and GBP, but our primary establishment, that Ribbon Enterprise, whatever be the name of the company, it is established in India. That means it has to deal and report in the INR currency. So ledger INR currency. But right now, our parent company, the Ribbon Inc. Is in US. So we have to report them our figures in US dollars so they can make a consolidation there. So we have to report our ledger in the US dollars also. That's the reason we have a reporting ledger that will be configured. Reporting currency ledger. We'll discuss on this. Then we have the legal entity. Then legal entity, we say legal entity. Then operating unit. Operating unit means it is used to segregate the data between two more multiple that is organization units. As explained in the last session, system organization to do partition of the data. Suppose we have Infosys multiple locations that is getting operated, and we want to segregate the data between Chennai and Bangalore. It means we have to manage the 3 operating units like this. So same way we can have multiple. If suppose our Ribbon India Limited has office in Bangalore and Pune, and it is legal entity is just one. It is in Bangalore. Head office is in Bangalore, but we have another unit who is which is working from Pune. So we can create here two operating units. But right now, the safer side, Ribbon India Limited, Bangalore. Inventory of this organization we use for tracking of our inventory related items. But though we are related to services, we do not have any inventory for this. Okay, so though we do not have inventory, we will definitely uh, need to create one inventory or for system purpose.
Okay. OU or IU means
OU means
operating
operating unit. IO
unit
means inventory organization.
inventory. Okay.
Okay. Before business group, we need to have one more thing to create: location. Location means your address. Okay. So we need to create. Then only it will get our all the setups will be ready. So in the location, which modules this all will require. The location can be created in inventory or HRMS, Human Resource Management System. Okay, we have module HR module separate, inventory module separate. So if we are in the creation of the all the organization structure, and that's the reason we have been have to use inventory or HRMS module and responsibility related to this module. Business group also same case. Ledger, it is general ledger setup. General ledger module we have to use. Then we have legal entity. Legal entity, either general ledger or legal entity configurator. Okay, this are operating unit, general ledger or inventory or HRMS. Inventory or also the same way. Sorry, inventory or just uh, like this. Okay, these are the modules. And so first we need to configure the responsibilities. This, actually, I have already taken somewhere the screenshots for this responsibilities. So right now, as per our Excel, we require inventory, HRMS, general ledger, and legal entity configurator. This is optional, legal entity configurator. So we are going to create inventory, HRMS, general ledger. These three responsibility we create, we assign it to ourselves, and then we'll start configuration. Okay.
Okay.
So first thing, we log into our system. Setup or responsibility creation and setup, we have to use always system administration. System administrative reason. Security, responsibility, define. Will define responsibility. And HRMS, people, HRMS.
Okay.
Human resources. And HRMS. Application. Human resources. I have to what is this? We have India HRMS navigator in HRMS reports and processes. This request group will provide you access related to employees. There no different reports you can run. This is the standard system on which you are going to use this responsibility, and this is the menus related to your HRMS, which will allow you to have the different functions and menus available. So this is one setup. Okay. So Ribbon India HRMS responsibility, we have done the setup. Now we need inventory setup. Okay, this Ribbon. And all inclusive inventory. All this is we have done inventory. And now we need the GL setup. Virtual supervisor. These three responsibility we assigned, we created. Now we will assign it to our user. Go to security. Okay, this is what I'm explaining you a little bit of system administrator work, because the
Okay.
responsibility setup and all this will be predefined and already been done by the system administrator. Okay. As you are going to do end user activity, there will be a user ID and the responsibility will already been assigned. This is what we are doing now, a consulting point of view.
Okay.
Add a responsibility. When you click this add button, it will create a new line, which you can edit. You can check the user. You can HR. Now, there is some predefined profile options to be set up. Okay. Before moving forward, there is two profile option. HR security profile, HR business. We have to do the predefined setup before moving. We start the configuration. Let me explain you profile option. Okay, profile option gives you flexibility in using the system. So there are two types of profile option. One is pure system, one is personal. Personal, you can create your own profile option and attach it to the level. And a system level, it is by default available for the system. So as you can see, there are various parameters like application responsibility, server, organization, user, and site level. So site level is by default available for maximum of the responsibilities, but it is possible you can assign this profile option values yes or no or some values in all these levels. If you assign something on site level, that is applicable to complete system. If you assign at the application level, application means general ledger is one application, accounts payable is one application, accounts receivable is one application, like this. If you assign application level, means that profile option is applicable for the application level through all the throughout the system, any user. Okay. Even
Okay.
though application is there, application level will override it. If application level some profile options are there, that will override on the site level. Responsibility level. Responsibility level means the right now we created three responsibility. If something we defining at the responsibility level, it will be applicable for that responsibility. And for other, it will be site level. Server level, this is the whole server. If we define it, sorry, server level, that will be applicable to server level. Organization level of this. User level, when you have your user ID and password, you can very well define the profile options at the user level. So now we will, as a best practice, it is always a responsibility level. But there are some companies who use at the server organization level as well, or user level as well. So mostly responsibility level. Even India.
Sir, we have recording, video recording or something, so that I can
Yes, this is going on recording already.
recording only, right?
Yes, yes,
Because
recording is going on.
going on. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, in the profile we have HR profile. Okay,
Mm.
click on find. So you have HR security profile. At the site level, there is a vision corporation. This is the dummy company created by this Oracle car to explain the concept. Okay. Production instance also you will have these details, but that will be available. That will be the blank server which will be the production, and you will use this for just training purpose. This training instance will have the Vision Corporation as a dummy company or enterprise created by Oracle. So now we will do, okay, the security profile. I am doing the setup as business group. Save it. Click on this torch button again. Go to HR business group. See, when you save the HR security profile, business group also change to the setup business group at the responsibility level by default. Okay. So just you need to come and verify this is set up as business group enabled or not. Yes, it is enabled.
Okay.
And
That
close.
I need to do in my company, or it's already
No,
been
no, it is already done. It is
done, right?
going to work as an end user. So for end user, it will be just the transaction entry. And what you are getting a training is of complete end-to-end consulting. Means in the consulting, along with the end user, what end user will do. You understood?
Yeah, I understood. I understood.
Okay. So this setup is done. Now we move to our responsibilities. Ribbon, inventory, or HRMS. Anything. Let's say inventory. So our first task is to create the location. We have all this, and inside this we have setup.
Hmm.
Setup here we will get all the details for configuration. Then we have the organization. Under organization we have location. Okay. Location we give one name. Given.
Bank India.
Okay, this is the name of this location. Okay.
Hmm.
Address style India. I'm using international, but mostly it is, let's say, Embassy Tech Park. Okay, click OK. And come to shipping. All goods. This is built to ship to office receiving address, internal site address, etc. And inventory organization we have not defined. So this is our location address. This setup is done. These are the additional fields where you can capture country specific information.
Okay.
So this setup is done, the location. Now you can close this window. So next is our business group organization. Click on new. Group. India. Okay. Business group is at each country level because business group, if you want to use the human resource model, you must create the business group at the country level. Otherwise, if business group is not required. At most of the country, they create their business group on a safer side if they want to use the human resource module in future. Then type of the organization there, business group and 01 here it is asking the location address, location name we created, and this is all done. Save this. After saving, come out the organization classification. On the organization classification, you have many things over here. Just select the business group. Okay. Enable it and save it. If you save this information, this cannot be changed. Only enable or disable can be done. So once this saved, click on others. And this star mark is the mandatory information. Rest all is the optional. So I'm just going to complete the mandatory option, business group information. Click OK. You will have the another window opening where you have to provide the details. Okay. Short name of this. Employee number generation manual. Applicant number generation manual. Okay. Contingent work number generation manual. Grade flex field. Group flex field.
We can find.
Yes, we can find. Actually, I forgot the name. That's the reason I am checking here. Like, what was the name? If I see the name, I can remember. But right now, I do not remember the exact name of that group flex field. Because it is always not possible to remember everything.
Correct.
People group flex field. Job flex field. Because this is a test server, so many people working and they creating their own flex fields and other information. Okay.
Cost allocation KF means KF.
This key flex field. Okay. When we come to the ledger setup, I will explain you the what is key flex field and what is the descriptive flex field. We have two types of flex fields there. What is flex fields? These all are used for human resources. Competence expert. Legislation code India. Enough. So once this is done, okay. Press Control to save it. Close this window and close this window. So now you have done location setup, business group setup. You can use any of this responsibility. Now, if we go and see, we have to go to our what to say, security administrator, system administrator, sorry, where we have to change the profile option at the responsibility level, which is a standard practice. Even general ledger, HR, security profile. Here we have to change it to Ribbon Group India.
One group India.
Okay. The same we have to do for all the responsibilities. HRMS. Here we have to do Open India. All the responsibility you have to attach the same business group or security
Okay.
profile. Security profile. Now we have another profile, HR business group. So if you say Ribbon India is assigned, check the another responsibility. Ribbon Central HR, fine. Ribbon India group, okay. So our first part of the setup is done. Now we move to ledger setup. Before you do complete the ledger setup, okay, at the time of creation of ledger, you can create the legal entity, or legal entity can be created before the ledger and can be assigned to the ledger. Okay, so now we create the legal entity. Legal entity creation, two responsibilities: legal entity configurator or general ledger. So we use the legal entity configurator. Change the responsibility, switch a responsibility over here. Legal entity configurator, I have the responsibility. I go there. It will open page over here, HTML page. Okay. Here I can create my legal entity. Click on legal entities. Then create legal entity. This is the legal entity at the actual real world legal entity. What exactly it is appearing in the name. So territory, India. Legal name, India Limited. Organization name, India Limited. Okay, this legal entity name here you see is to give you flexibility to use any suffix or prefix. Okay, most let's say in example for my company use this as a prefix to the of the legal entity. So by this I understand. Okay, this is the legal entity, not the anything. An organization actual name will use for actual organization name.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then legal entity identifier. Uh, I am just assigning some random numbers, but it is given by the central bank of your country.
Central bank.
Yes, central bank of the country. That is
Oh,
the RBI, legal entity.
RBI.
Yes, it has some specification which gives you the legal, or if you don't have anything, you can just enter here the legal by yourself any number by how you want to define it. Then PAN number, I have given it. Select the existing address, legal address name.
This PAN, it will be company PAN number or it
Yes,
is
exactly. Company PAN number.
company PAN number. Yeah.
Okay. Full address. I will give address. Address.
Every time percentage we need to give or what?
Yes.
Ching.
If you don't remember exactly the name, you can give the percentage.
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
In that only it's coming, right?
The reason why it was not coming is because it need to be embassy, but it now it is a EMA bus.
Emavasi. Okay.
So that's the reason it was not showing there. Okay, but it is okay. Then place of registration you can date of inception or the business activity, share capital, type of company. See, it is not mandatory field, but if you have the data, you can define it. Click save and add details.
Okay.
Okay. Here, all these details are here. We add the different registration numbers. Right now, we have just added the PAN number, and all these details are there. India income tax jurisdiction. Likewise, we have India GST jurisdiction will come, and company affairs related income will that information will come. So you can define as many as a requirement of this jurisdiction as here. Create another registration, you can define the another registration like GST, corporate affairs, etc. etc. Then
Okay.
you have the establishment. Establishment is the place from where you are right now working, or right now you are operating. In this
Okay.
establishment, you can add very well other establishments. Like if you have operations from Pune, you can very well define the Pune. If you have operations from Chennai, you can very well add that establishment in this Chennai. Okay, and you can also change the main establishment address also. The main establishment it is defined as yes, that can be changed. Then you have the contact information.
Yeah.
If any contact information that then intercompany, then history. All this we are mostly using this registration establishment contract. Intercompany exceptions that can be defined when you have the intercompany related transaction. Otherwise, this also keeping blank also. And this is done. We are done with the legal entity setup also now. Then our next is to define the ledger. Okay. For ledger, I explained you that there are four.
Ledger means what?
Where your debit equals to credit.
Okay.
Here you will put the accounting entries. So for ledger, there are four C's. First C, currency,
Yes.
INR, calendar.
Hmm.
It can be
Accounting.
uh,
Accounting convention.
accounting calendar, yes, but it can be monthly, uh, bi-weekly, weekly, something, etc. Okay. So in our case, we are going to use the monthly calendar. Then we have the accounting convention. In the accounting convention, Oracle has already provided us with the accrual accounting, cash basis accounting. Okay, mostly we use accrual accounting. Okay, but this accrual accounting, there are many events and the accounting, in how the accounting will happen, that is also defined. So that can be changed as per the organization requirement. So right now we are going to use already provided by Oracle accrual accounting convention. Then we have the chart of accounts. List of accounts. List of accounts. So in the list of accounts, we are going to capture few additional details. Okay, earlier it was, suppose if you as you don't know how it is done. Basically, in the old days and before this ERP coming into picture, before it was just the account we used to enter for any information. Suppose we are doing purchase, sales, and cash receipt, cash payment, etc., etc. It was like it was like let's say cash debit, sales, credit. So for cash, account number is 100. For sales, account number is 800. That's it. But with the invention of ERP and all this, uh, you need to give additional details for this two segments, these two accounts. Okay, this 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 cash account is related to which company or which division or something like this, which function it is booking, then which product it is for, and then for which department it is for which location it is for. So there are many information you have to provide, and that's the reason in the ERP we have flex fields. In the flex field, we have two types: key flex fields, descriptive flex fields. Key will hold the day-to-day use information. Okay, day-to-day information for accounting and other activities. Okay, key flex field is the characteristics. Descriptive means holding additional information or application or account. So mostly the key is okay, but descriptive depends on the company. Suppose, let's say my company needs a lot of information in the descriptive flex field because that cannot be captured in the system via key flex fields. So something which you cannot do capture in the key flex field that can be done only in the descriptive flex field. And we will see the example of key flex field. So right now we are we have in the chart of account we have to define segments. How many segments we are going to use? That segment is related to your account. Okay, like company, location. Then you have the account. Then you have the sub account. Then you have the product. Then you have the project. Then you have the intercompany. Then you have the future segments. Okay. This is, I am telling that this is the standard one right now. Most of the companies are using, but it can be extended to any number, not any number, 30 segments only. Likewise, you can define 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, total 30 segments. But it is not feasible for everyone to remember also. And that's the reason we have very limited, maximum 10 numbers of segments are being used. And future segment, this is if you want some additional informations in the future uh, that can be managed in the accounting level, then you can enable use this future one segment. I have given here future one. There is a possibility that you can use it to 5, 6, 7, 8, how many numbers of segments you want, but it need to be within the limit of 30 segments total. So right now we are going to use the company location account. Sorry, one more thing was here. So company location. Company means which legal. Suppose you have two legal entities in India, then you need to assign two values for company one and company two. Okay. There is also possibility that in Bangalore you have two different units and you want two different units to produce the trial balance. Then you have to assign the two units a different uh, value in the company values. So this will be like we are going to define the accounting structure, chart of account structure. So we are going to use these segments and this others. If I include, it will be more complex. So to start with, you have to go to general ledger responsibility. Given India general ledger. Okay. Here you can book the journal entries, budget journal entries, inquiry, do the consolidation and reportings, and do the setup. But most of the cases, this setup is segregated with the end user responsibility. So you will not find this setup as a responsibility for you when you start working on the Oracle. You may have just the end user related responsibility. So in the setup, I have to go to financial setup, setup financials, then flex fields. I have the here key, descriptive, validation of this flex fields, key and descriptive both. So now this is related to chart of account. So we are going to define the key flex fields. So we have for the key flex fields, segment, then its value, then alias, if you want to define some second name for accounting, then rules, grouping, security, and accounts. Mostly, the first case, we have to define the segment. Click on segment. It will open this key flex field segment window. In this window, you have to create your chart of account structure. Okay, before moving, before just to give you information, in the financials, we already discussed this once. Currency, INR, calendar. So in case of currencies, already currencies are there. Okay. And that is in standard way, like INR, USD, EUR, and ZAR. These all are currency defined. So you should not define any currency. If you see here, some people are defining their own currency code. This is the wrong practice. It is not advisable. If it is there, currencies always come with the system always come with a currency defined by ISO, International Standard Organization. That is the INR, USD, EUR, GBP, ZAR. Each country's currency is already defined in the system. So you should not create your own code combinations coding for this currency. So if you want to see INR, just press F11, press INR. See Indian rupee, this is already defined. So no need to create another one that a ribbon INR. There is no currency like a ribbon INR. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So currency is already available. Then next is the calendar. Okay, calendar we have to define first type of calendar, then define the accounting calendar. Type of calendar. Okay. Here already defined lot of things. We can use that, or we can use our own defined one. Okay. Period type. You can 13 periods in per year, 13 periods. Type will be calendar type or fiscal type. Okay, calendar and fiscal. The difference is calendar, if is put, it is Jan to December. Fiscal means for India it is April to March. So the fiscal
April to March.
is
Then it's
sorry.
fiscal. Then it will be fiscal, right? April to
Yes,
March.
it will be fiscal. But what happens, as we are the part of US subsidiary, we have to report the figures to US. We will be following Jan to December as a period, and there will be another ledger will be created, which will transfer these values in a different calendars. there is a possibility to manage two different calendars for same entity, same organization. You can manage multiple currency. The same way you can manage the multiple calendars, and the same way you can manage the uh, accounting period for this. So mostly it is we are defining calendar Jan to December. Fiscal you can use it, but yeah, if you have to report some companies out of India, then it is advisable. It will be Jan to December, with reporting of figures in the next period. Sorry, in the fiscal period, as per the legal requirement.
Okay.
Okay. So right now we are using calendar, and we give description as 30 and save. Once you save it, this information is saved. Close this one. Now we going to define the calendar for us, accounting calendar. Click on and give the name of the calendar. Click on group calendar.
Or it's ribbon calendar. Maybe it's not taking calendar. This setup who will do? It's already been.
This will be done by consultant like me. Okay, we will be
Okay.
there. Our consultant like us will be there in your company as well. Who will be doing all these activities?
Okay.
Just a second, hold on. I just come for 1 minute break. Actually, I need water.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
So there will be some consultant like me in your company, maybe in India or maybe in US, who will be doing all these activities. Even if they want to introduce something new in your day-to-day task, they will do first all the configuration, they will do all the testings, and then they will give you additional training to manage that task, and then they will they will go live with the support activities. So the ribbon calendar, we have done going to do the setup. In the calendar, what we will do, the Jan to December, we will do the setup. Jan, period type ribbon, year 2021, quarter number 1. Because January falls under the quarter number 1, it is like this. But in case of fiscal year, it will be quarter number 4. You understood? Because
Yes, sir.
in you understood, no? Okay.
Yeah, I understood actually.
Okay, thank you. And the number of the period, it will be 1. But in case of fiscal, what will be the number for this January period?
Fiscal means it will start 2020 maybe.
Yes.
from April, right? From
Yes.
April.
April to March.
Huh.
Okay, what will happen? If this fiscal year, maybe fiscal year can start with any other period also. There is not an issue. But if it is April to March for our case in India,
Okay, then
Jan
2001 to 2020. Sorry, 2021 to 2022
yes,
March.
yes. So January will be the period for which number? One number or number?
No, one only.
No, 10.
January.
Yes.
Okay, 1 minute.
See,
April, May,
if
July,
your
August.
period is starting from April, then January will be
Yes,
the 10th
January will
period.
be 10. 10. Correct, correct. I understood.
Ex, ex,
April is one. Then
yes,
June to July, August, like this only. Then January will come as a 10.
yes. So now all the setup is already done. I am just
Okay,
showing you how the setup is done and how it is going to look like in your system. You are getting a
okay.
consultant level training, not an issue. You will do the practice also consultant level, not an issue. Suppose you face some issue tomorrow, your team will solve it. But if you know the solution, you can directly
Yeah.
instruct your this consultant team that please do this setup so I can use it.
Yes.
Okay. Likewise, what is this adjusting? I will explain you.
Okay. It's manually we need to do.
Uh, yes, manually, but there is some Excel tools are there. That is third-party tools which allow you to perform this task with automation. But that is the Excel tool. In the Excel, you have to fill up and then you have to run some program which will take this data from Excel to the system. And with the new cloud version, it will be very simple. It is just Excel upload. Whatever setup I am doing is the Excel upload. It is not manual. Manual can be done, but it is Excel.
Yes, I saw our company people, they are doing some Excel sheet and they're thing.
Sorry.
They're manually like in Excel only they're uploading. One format is there.
Okay.
Format they're filling and they're uploading. That is the way they are working.
Okay.
This-
Because this configuration activity in the R12 version, it is mostly manual. It is cannot be done some automatic work with the Excel upload. But data entry can be done with the Excel. You can upload the GL journals. You can upload the fixed assets. You can upload the AP invoice, AR invoices with the Excel function also. There is a tool is there. Our company also using one tool called More for Apps.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, one, two, three, 7. At least you have to, in the first time, you have to complete to define the at least 1 year period, which is mandatory. And most of the time, consultants complete at least 5 or 6 years of calendar setup. So in future, it will be easy.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will be a big maintenance activity every time you Okay, we have done the September period. Okay, but now you see, we define this calendar type with the 13 period in a year. So how 13 period works? ADJ, adjusting period. Why adjusting period? Why not the normal period?
31st December you are given. Same.
I explain this ADJ as a 31st December to 31st December. What happens? Every month you do the transaction and you complete, close the period. Okay. Once you close the period and open the next period, then only you can proceed with the accounting activity. But when management is preparing the final report at the year end, they may be required to do some adjusting entries, and that entries may be related to any of this period, but they cannot go and open this period and do the entry. And that's the reason at the end of the year they pass some adjustment journal entries, and which will be dated as 31st December only. Cannot be, because already all periods are closed. Because once December is closed, you are in the January. But whatever activity you are going to do for the last year, that you must complete on that last day of the year, not in between of the year. Because of that, your income tax and other activities get impact. Suppose you are doing, you have a revenue of, you book the revenue sales income of 1 lakh rupees extra, but you have not already earned this income. This is unearned income. Means you have uh, uh, still to get this obligation. Sorry, that sales obligations to be completed. So that's the reason you have to reduce that 1 lakh from your actual sales account. to your unearned sales account. There is a, this is a called accounting. Okay.
No, for my question is, for example, I am going to get 1 lakh rupees, but for example, maybe first June, no, not June, January,
Hmm.
2nd January, I about to get, but
Hmm.
December we are we got the quotation, everything we got, but we need to adjust in December itself, or we need to again we need to create in Jan.
Your
In that
I
case,
didn't understand this is, but let me explain you adjustment one more time. Okay, some
okay,
what happened? Audit will happen at the year end only.
yes,
So at the end of the year, when the auditors complete their audit, they give some journal entries to be done. Okay, they give
hmm,
provision journal entries for income tax. They give
hmm,
journal entries to do some corrections because you have done some mistake in journal entries. They did the audit and they given you the details. So when you will pass this journal entries only in this period, adjusting period with 31st
oh,
December as a date, because if that journal entry what they are asking you to correct is related to May month, it is not possible you go and open the May month and do the adjustment activity, because for that, if that is to be considered, you have already completed second quarter income will impact. Then if
correct,
you are a
okay,
listed company, you already
mhm,
reported this figure to SEBI, NSE, BSE everywhere. So you cannot go and change immediately. No?
okay, I understood.
That's the, we have an adjusting period. And I have checked this adjusting checkbox also. So most of the companies, let's say if I say Apple, Apple in US follow weekly period, means every week they do the period close activity. They do all these activities and they perform the accounting, reporting, everything week by week, not a monthly, but it is week by week.
Okay, in case if anything is there, they will adjust in that immediately. They'll
They can do the immediately, but the thing is that audit is happening at the year end only. So for Apple also it is difficult to open the first week or 20th week, because once you complete the activity for the May period, right now we are in the period of July. So once we close the July, we are working in for August month. So we have to close this period, we have to open this period. There is a period concept is also there. This need to be followed every time. So once the period is completed, you should not touch that period. You need to perform that if activity is to be performed in the next period only.
okay, I understood.
For audit activities, if auditors giving any journal entries that need to be performed in the adjusting period. So many companies who is following monthly, like in India, we have April to March yearly calendar, and every every 3 months quarterly reports are getting submitted if it is listed company to the NSE, BSE somewhere, and if it is a non-listed company to the private company shareholders, so they can review the performance of the last 3 months. So they create the adjusting period after every quarter. So total it is 16 period calendar. So likewise, you can
Okay,
define the calendar. So I defined the calendar over here. This calendar we are going to use for our further setups.
okay,
Click on current. This is just a decision. It is asking if we need to validate this calendar setup. Now we accounting convention already defined by the Oracle standard one. So we are going to use that. We can define our own, but I am not going to teach that one.
Okay.
because that is a bit complex one, and even for explaining to everyone, it is not everyone, but explaining to you, it will be little difficult without giving a proper accounting knowledge. Okay,
Okay.
even for me also, that is difficult to understand how it is being done. So it will take some time for me as well. But that if that is the case in your company, if this has to be changed or this has to be some modification is required, that is already done, and that is be done by a consultant like me who is expert in configuring this accounting convention.
Anyway, that I'll not going to do. Not going to,
Yes,
perform that
yes,
one. So
exactly.
it is not actually. Actually, my thing is like I want how like this journal entry, test a journal entry, right? Account payable, account receivable, cash management. I
Yes,
anyway setup they will going to do.
I completely understand. That's the reason I am giving you just a basic setup level idea.
Basic setup.
Okay. Uh,
Yes, yes.
so
Actually.
this setup is higher level because it is very high level configuration, and even this you cannot do. But whatever other things I am giving you as an explanation, this will help you to understand what you are going to do in your company. Even if you do the accounts payable, what is the significance of all this setup, you will come to know. So we'll finish our what, where we were. Now we are going to do the setup for chart of accounts. How the chart of accounts will be defined. So we were in the setup, general ledger responsibility, in the setup, financials, flex fields, under key. Under key, we have to first define the segments. Segments is we are going to define the what is press F11 in this window. Give application as general ledger percentage, and in the application flex field title means which characteristics you want to capture now. Accounting ACCO percentage, and press Control F11. This will bring all the different chart of account structure defined by many training or trainers over here. So right now we are going to define it for Ribbon India. Come to the first line, press add Ribbon chart of account. Ribbon chart of account and press the save button over here. This is done. Ribbon chart of account is saved. Okay,
Okay.
inside we are going to define the details, segments. Okay, I'm just going to explain you one thing over here. Okay, chart of accounts are two types. In our case, it is one global chart
Okay.
of account, which the chart of account is designed by your head office and it is followed by all over the countries, whether in US, whether in Europe, whether in India, or whether in Singapore, Japan, China, etc. The same chart of accounts will be followed. There will be no differences. So what account China is using, the same account you are also going to use. And the same account US is also going to use. So like,
It will be same.
yes, account will be same. Throughout the world, account will be the same. Suppose I am recording my sales account under account number 800, Japan and China is also recording their sales under 800, and US is also recording their sales under 800. But you can very well differentiate the figure because you need figure of India only. You don't want the figure of US or China. You want what is the sales for India. So that here that comes the company location and all these segments will work. Okay. So that is called the global chart of account. Now the country chart of account. Country chart of account means each country will have their own chart of account. This is mandated by the law. Actually, government some chart of accounts which is mandatory to be followed and followed for reporting purposes. Suppose you can say that China mostly prescribe their own chart of account, but Ribbon is asking them to follow the global chart of account. So it is very well possible. You can create two ledgers, one for global chart of account, one for legal chart of account of China. Same way for Japan, same way for Portuguese countries, same way for France also, same way for UK also, same way for Germany, same way for US. So you can define multiple ledgers for a single representation. Okay. Let's say
Okay, for a okay.
my global chart of account is this. Okay. I
Hmm.
take this one. My global chart of account is this. And now for this, I have a one legal chart of account or country chart of account. Legal or country. Legal chart of account is telling that cash account need to be like this. My sales account need to be like okay.
Hmm.
So if I am booking in the global chart of account, there will be a bridge will be created between these two. Okay, the kind of mapping or kind of a link will be created between this chart of account and this chart of account. So whatever you do posting on this chart of account, it will immediately transfer to the next chart of account. You understood?
I understood. But see, here is 100, but here is like maybe 10 lakh,
Yes.
10 crore. Yeah. By default, it will convert or it will be like same. My question is, if like if we'll create one bridge, like for example, global. If you put something by default, it will reflect in legal and country account, country chart of account, right?
Yes, if we create a bridge or if we create the link, if we are not creating link, it will not allow to complete the activity in the global chart of account and it will not transfer into the legal chart of account.
Okay, understood.
Okay, so
Mm.
let's say I did that is called a chart of accounts mapping in Oracle language. That is called a chart of account mapping. Means your source chart of account is this. My target chart of account is this. So whatever posting I do in this accounts, that will transfer to the this account in the another ledger based on the mapping chart of account mapping. So we have the different two types of chart of accounts. So mostly as your company is a US company and they follow they may be, I have a 100% observation assumption that they must be using the global chart of account and if required, they will be using also for India reporting any other chart of account that is called secondary chart of account, a secondary ledger. So for ledger, we have two types, primary ledger and secondary ledger. Primary ledger will be the main ledger, main representation. It can have your Most of the cases, I assume that this will be your global chart account. Okay. If and this is the second representation. This will have your legal or country chart account. If the company is allowing just primary ledger with legal and country chart of account, then there is no use of secondary ledger. You can directly use the legal and country chart of account in the primary ledger. This is also very well possible. This is, I am not telling that this is denied, but to make the process standardized, because what will happen, suppose you are the manager, okay, you are managing the finance for Vivan in the APAC region, Asia Pacific region, where you have the
Yeah.
Singapore, China, Japan, all reporting is done in India. Okay, so you are looking into the if you are just using legal chart of account in case of global chart of account, and you are not using any secondary ledger, then you need to understand each country's ledger first. Okay, I am using 800 as my sales account. China using 8 lakhs as their chart of account. Maybe Singapore using 1 lakh as their sales in the account. Okay, so it will be
Mm.
very difficult for you to understand the trial balance and report the financial figures to your manager. Okay, you understood my context, like how it will be difficult if you use the legal chart of account in the primary ledger, because it will be causing you that you will not be able to get the correct figures, you will not be able to decode the financials, like I am booking my sales in one account and China is booking under different account and Singapore is booking under different account, and I have to first prepare some kind of report where my accounts will be mapped, and then I will prepare the figures. So the reason most of the company use primary ledger with the global chart of account. If I use global chart of account, means China will be booking under 800 as a sales. India also will be booking sales under 800. Japan also will be booking sales under 800. So it will be easy. Okay, 800 account. This is a sales account. Sales account total figure. You can view and report and do the data analysis, whatever you want. So you understood my context, like what is the primary, secondary ledger, and what is the important.